Is monogamy a natural or a cultural construct? What shaped our perspective about monogamy? These questions have sparked countless debates among sociologists, historians, and curious minds alike. Today, we're delving into the intriguing origins of monogamy, tracing its complex roots that weave through various cultures and religions, notably Christianity. We'll explore how biblical teachings, Roman influences, church doctrines, and cultural evolution have contributed to monogamy's rise as the dominant form of marriage. To understand this, we need to journey back to the earliest recorded thoughts on monogamy. For many, the concept of monogamy originates from religious teachings, specifically the Bible. Delving into the pages of this sacred text, we uncover a myriad of teachings that have influenced the concept of monogamy. Although instances of polygamy pepper the Old Testament, the New Testament shifts gears, often shining a spotlight on monogamous relationships. Let's take a walk through the book of Matthew, specifically chapter 19, verses 4 to 6. Here, Jesus references the creation stories, emphasizing that a man and woman should become one flesh. He said, "He who created them from the beginning made them male and female, and said, 'Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh.'" This profound statement underscores the notion of two individuals merging into one entity, a union that is inherently monogamous. The Apostle Paul also weighs in on the subject in his first letter to the Corinthians. He encourages each man to have his own wife and each woman her own husband, a clear nod to monogamy. His words serve as an ethical compass, pointing believers towards a path of monogamous relationships. Then there's the pastoral letter to Timothy, where Paul sets the standard for church leaders, stating that a bishop should be the husband of one wife. This directive not only sets a monogamous precedent for church leaders, but also subtly communicates the value of monogamy to the broader Christian community. These biblical teachings aren't mere historical footnotes. They have deeply influenced Christian ethics and morality. They have paved the way for monogamy to become the gold standard in Christian marriages, shaping societal norms and personal expectations. Although interpretations and practices may vary, the Bible's influence on the concept of monogamy is undeniable. It's through these scriptures that monogamy has been woven into the fabric of Christian tradition, creating a tapestry that has left an indelible mark on societies across the globe. These teachings have shaped the Christian emphasis on monogamy as the ideal form of marriage. The spread of Christianity coincided with the dominance of Roman culture, which also played a role in promoting monogamy. When Christianity began to spread, Roman culture was the prevailing force in many parts of the world. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither were its social norms and laws. These norms generally promoted monogamy as the accepted form of marriage, and they were instrumental in shaping the early Christian practices related to marriage and family. Roman law, for instance, was clear and unambiguous about monogamy. It was the rule of the land, and it applied to everyone, from the common man to the emperor himself. This emphasis on the monogamous form of marriage was not just a legal requirement, but it was a social expectation as well. Moreover, the Romans had a clear division of roles within the family. The paterfamilias, or the male head of the household, held the highest authority, while the wife was expected to be a loyal companion and a nurturing mother. This social structure further reinforced the idea of monogamy. As Christianity spread, it absorbed these cultural norms and legal frameworks. The Roman influence was not just a passive backdrop, but an active participant that helped shape the Christian tradition. Roman laws and social norms didn't merely coexist with Christian teachings, they intertwined with them, influencing and being influenced in return. This Roman influence helped solidify the concept of monogamy within the Christian tradition. Over the centuries, church leaders and theologians have interpreted biblical teachings on marriage and sexuality. This has been a crucial factor in shaping Christian norms around monogamy. Take, for example, the early church fathers, key figures who shaped Christian theology during the first few centuries AD. Among them were Augustine and Thomas Aquinas, who played significant roles in shaping the church's stand on monogamy. Augustine, a bishop from North Africa, was a towering figure in early Christian thought. He viewed marriage primarily as a means for procreation and believed that monogamy was the ideal because it mirrored the singular devotion that Christians should have towards God. Then there's Thomas Aquinas, a 13th century theologian who is often considered one of the greatest in the history of the church. Aquinas argued that monogamy was natural because it ensured peace in the family and society. He saw polygamy as a threat to this peace, leading to jealousy and discord. In this way, these early church fathers criticized polygamy as unsuitable for Christians. Their views became influential in shaping the church's doctrine, leading to a widespread acceptance of monogamy as the norm within Christianity. This isn't to say that every Christian community around the world has always adhered strictly to monogamy. There have been historical variations and exceptions, but the teachings of these theologians have played a pivotal role in establishing monogamy as the dominant norm within Christianity. Their teachings further reinforced the Christian emphasis on monogamy. Opening, as Christianity spread and grew, it was shaped by the cultures in which it developed. Monogamy as a concept was not born in a vacuum. It was already an existing practice in many parts of Europe where Christianity began to establish its roots. In these regions, monogamy was the norm, the standard, the expected. It was the way of life, the way of love, the way of marriage. So, when Christianity arrived, it didn't introduce monogamy as a novel concept. Rather, it found common ground with the existing norms and reinforced them. Christianity, in essence, acted as a mirror, reflecting back the cultural practice of monogamy to the societies that already practiced it. Now, you might be wondering, why didn't Christianity challenge this norm? Why didn't it introduce a different form of marriage? Well, the answer lies in the very nature of cultural evolution. Cultures evolve over time, and they do so by adapting to their environment. In the case of Christianity, the environment was a Europe where monogamy was the norm. And so, Christianity adapted. It absorbed the norm of monogamy into its teachings and practices, embedding it further into the fabric of Western society. Over time, this reinforcement of monogamy by Christianity had a profound impact. It cemented monogamy as the dominant form of marriage not just in Europe, but in all parts of the world where Christianity spread. It turned monogamy from a cultural norm into a religious ideal, a standard that was upheld and promoted by the church. And so, monogamy became deeply rooted in the Western consciousness. It became more than just a form of marriage. It became a symbol of commitment, of fidelity, of love. It became a cornerstone of Western society, a pillar that has stood the test of time. Closing. While monogamy has become the dominant standard within Christianity, it's important to remember that there have been historical variations and exceptions. So, we've traced the evolution of monogamy from biblical teachings through Roman influence and church doctrine to its entrenchment in Western society. We've seen how the Bible, particularly the New Testament, extols monogamy. We've explored how Roman laws and norms influence the Christian perspective on marriage. We've examined how church leaders interpreted these teachings, advocating for monogamy, and we've witnessed how cultural evolution further ingrained monogamy into the fabric of our society. The origins of monogamy are complex, shaped by a fascinating interplay of religion, culture, and societal norms. It's a journey that continues to shape our understanding of relationships today.